So on Sunday, I felt very weak. I felt that I didn't have any energy, and I could hardly get up on Monday morning and go to work.
Oh, okay.
And one more thing is that when I do the meditation and I sit still and calm,
Yeah.
Perhaps at the beginning it's okay, but like the longer I do it, it happened first. I noticed it when I was listening to the recording,
Yeah.
and then I decided to do it without the recording. And the first time I did it was more or less okay, and when I did it for the second and the third time, it was the same. So. And also, it is different from the previous meditations I had.
Yeah.
I feel my heart, I not only feel, I even hear my heart beating. It's like racing.
Okay.
And when it happens, I can't say that I'm thinking about the noise or whatever.
Okay.
And also during the week, I try to reflect. I listen to this recording. And I can say that yes, there are some rays.
There are some.
There are clouds.
There are some.
Rays of sun.
Okay. Trace of the sound continues. Yes. No relaxation.
So sometimes it is, sometimes it is not.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's like a wave.
Sometime it is and sometime not. I'm listening carefully. Oh, very good. So that is the journey you had in the last week. I understood it clearly. And now pick up, approach near or go far. Mind. You connected to me, it is means you approach near, that is why you are listening to me. Just few minutes before, you were not listening to me. Are you clear? Are you clear?
Yes, I am clear.
So when the mind moves within, first time you hear the heartbeat. That is okay. But the past impression with anxiety returns and claims the heart is beating fast. Am I speaking very fast to you so that you do not understand?
No.
But few minutes before, you were too far. And now you have started listening to me apply the same understanding. Now the first time the mind is moving within, you are becoming more and more aware of the heart. If you become aware of the heart, obviously aware of the heart, so you become aware of the beats. Where is the problem? The problem lies in the mind picking up the past impression, and then it claims, why my heart is beating so fast? Did you understand this?
Mm-hmm.
So, in meditation, or in these different practices, the mind moves within. I told you it leads to variety of experiences. It is the experience that changes the brain. Changes the brain, and the brain changes my attitude. But if the mind says, what should I do now? Because of the meditation, my heart has started beating very fast. Wrong notion. Wrong thinking. Are you understanding? And the wrong thinking and the wrong nation comes from the past impression that is already stored in your mind. So it identifies, it attaches, oh, what should I do? So even if you put your 2 fingers on the wrist to check the pulse, and you will see what is happening. What is happening? What should I do? You will see that this pulse is beating very fast. Even if you put your hand here, you'll find many pulsations. The mind is subconsciously aware of it, but without wrong notion. That is the way the body has to work. So instead of understanding, the mind digs deep into your unconsciousness, triggers the past impression expressed in the thought, what should I do? Have you given your heart to someone? No. How can you give your heart to someone? You see that? Did you understand it clearly? In the journey of Eastern wisdom, the mind undergoes a new experiences, the new changes takes place. Now what is the positive part? Positive part that the mind has started moving within. This is wonderful. And what is the negative part of it? The mind claims the heart is beating fast. What should I do? Now see that these practices are not that I push you to run for 5 miles at a speed of 50 kilometers an hour so that it exhausts the heart and then the heart is beating. Then obviously we can say, yes, we have to go to the doctor to get our heart diagnosed. This is what the contemplation and reflection is. So the moment where you have those experiences, allow the mind to work with the contemplation and thinking, right reflection. What I did I run? Is there a panic? No. Is someone coming to kill me? No. So why I'm experiencing the heartbeat? Now the right thinking, because the mind has moved within. The first time I recognized this is the way the heart is beating. Do you want to stop the heart beating?
No, but of course not.
You see that? Of course not. So let it beat, let it work on its own. Why you worry? The simple...
Because I don't feel very comfortable with this.
That is what I'm saying. Still the mind is moving into the past impression and claims that you are not feeling comfortable. So please, now see how the wrong notion goes. Now put your hand on the heart. Do you feel the heartbeat?
I have 2 sweaters, now I don't.
So put your hand inside and feel the heartbeat and tell me what beat is comfortable and what it is not. Separate the two so that I can find the solution. See that? You see wrong notion? That's why you don't feel comfortable? Do you see the wrong notion? You are talking to me, you are smiling, you are listening to me with a focus, and at the same time, tell me which heartbeat is uncomfortable and which heartbeat is comfortable. You see that? Do you see that? Do you realize the movement of the mind going into the past impression, triggering and claiming that I don't feel comfortable? Are you clear?
Mm-hmm.
Are you clear?
Yes.
And if you are so, once you diagnose and investigate and tell me which beat is uncomfortable, I will make it comfortable.
Okay, so when I hear it in my ears, it's not very comfortable.
That is what I'm saying. The mind is still triggering the past impression. Now see that as a teacher, do you see the mind is still rationalizing? It wants to stick to that uncomfortable. First you said heartbeat, then you said now I'm listening into my ears, and then you say, is the mind behaving like a child? It is obstinate. It doesn't want to leave that claim. Are you understanding? Are you understanding?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Do you realize that the mind, the same mind with the wrong notion coming from the past impression, that is why I told you in one of the sessions that by birth, you may have undergone some events of which you may not remember. Consciously, it may be a very ordinary event, and the mind picked up that sense of anxiety that is still continuing, that has translated into the noise in a football stadium. So that root needs to be uprooted and removed. So first it is a football stadium and the noise there, and now the heartbeat. And then what will happen if you absorb yourself into a deeper meditation? You may feel a lot of pulsations in the head, deep inside. Sometimes you'll feel an upsurge of energy from the tailbone to the collarbone, and you will see what is happening. It's a kind of an electric shock with a sound. And that anxiety, that anxiety stored in the subconscious past impressions will trigger and will say, leave this, beer guy does not understand me. I'm facing a lot of problems. Now, just contemplation and reflection today. Let us go a little slower. Do you hear the heartbeat in your ears now?
Maybe not in the ear, but I feel it anyway.
Oh, come on. Understand. Oh my goodness. You see how the wrong notions dominate and dictate your mind. Do you hear the heartbeat? Do you hear the pulse in your wrist?
Perhaps now as I'm sitting, no.
No, don't say perhaps. Do you hear or do you hear not?
No.
You see, this is how your mind is working. Just I'm saying, understand that. So what you see, do you hear pulse or the heartbeat? Just close your eyes and force your mind to hear the heartbeat. You're doing nothing. So when I use the term focus your mind on the heart, why to hear the beats? Okay. Focus your mind on the wrist and hear the pulse beat. Do you hear or feel? Hearing
yes,
is... Huh?
I feel it.
Yes. Do you hear or feel?
Feel.
Can you really hear the beat of the pulse or the heart, or you simply feel it?
So at this moment, I feel it.
So that feeling, due to a wrong notion in the mind, what happens? Creates a claim that you hear in your ears, and that is not comfortable. Am I right? Or wrong? Prove me I'm wrong.
I have no doubt that you're right. No.
Prove me. Now, there are people who suffer from severe mental problem, like bipolars and others. They claim they prove that they hear. And they don't want to change their stand. The mind is now obsessed with the wrong notion and it does not want to drop it. Do you want to move into that direction? Or
No.
You want to break that wrong notion, even if the wrong thoughts enters through the contemplation and reflection, you should first clear the mind. Right? Do you see that? So I should drop wrong notion and thinking. First, how? By contemplation, by reflection. What that means, ask question and answer in your mind. Am I clear?
Yes.
So if you stop asking the question, you will continue to hear the heartbeat in your ears. You know, out of a joke, I'm saying that, oh, that is a great. Your mind is so deeper that it hears the heartbeat. And now you can hear the beat of the soul also. No worries. But that is a wrong notion. Are you clear? Now tell me, who is causing the suffering? Who is causing this problem?
The mind.
Yes, the mind. How come? The mind lives in two states. Just understand that what I covered, pure and impure. Did you understand that? I told you. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And what is impure mind? There is a perception and there is a projection. Perception is always there. What is perception? Seeing, knowing, feeling. Seeing, knowing, feeling, hearing, touch, sensation, all the five sense organs. Perception is always there. My eyes are open. By default, I am looking at Oksana. That is a normal perception. Right? So continue to look at the beard guy and ask your mind what you think of this beard guy. And whenever any thought comes, express it. Even if the mind says he seems to be crazy, he is not understanding me, everything is okay. Just express your thought. We are in meditation. This is an active meditation. Express your thought, whatever enters into the mind. The mind will say, okay, this crazy guy does not understand me. I'm okay with it. Any good or high thoughts, low thought comes. Whatever the thought enters into the mind, just express it without holding it. You are looking at me. You are feeling me. Yes, because that seeing is a feeling, is a sensation. That's why we say it is a sense organ. You are listening to me, that is also a sensation and the feeling. Now allow the mind to think about this beard guy, and whatever comes to the mind, you express it. Without any reservation, good, bad, high, low. No thought is coming?
Just a few.
What are those?
So the thoughts are that,
What are those thoughts?
okay, that you experienced, that you know a lot, that so I trust you. I know that what you say is true.
I trust you. Good.
Okay.
And then what other thoughts?
And then there was this thought, yes, that you cannot, to the very end, you cannot imagine the situation I'm living in.
You can't imagine what situation I'm living in.
Yes.
So
Of
take
course,
up.
I mean
Go ahead.
the outer world. Yes. This outer world.
First thing, I trust you. Question that trust.
Mm-hmm.
When you trust, why don't you follow? It is not a trust.
I try to follow.
You
anyway.
Try to follow. Just pay attention. You are a teacher. That's why I'm going little higher. Raise your right arm up.
Okay.
Bring it down. Raise your right arm up.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it down. Now try to raise your arm, but do not raise it.
Nothing will happen.
This is what is happening to your mind. So from where we moved? From the trust. And that word trust remains only at the thinking level. And then you told me I try. What is the meaning of trying? No meaning. You don't move an inch, a centimeter. That's why I gave you a physical example of raising your hand and bringing it down, then try to raise it. Do you understand?
Okay.
It is so simple,
Yes.
and yet it is very profound.
Okay, perhaps I haven't picked up a proper word to characterize it.
Okay, let me accept it. And you told me, you can't imagine what situation I'm living.
Mm-hmm.
Both the thoughts are projection of the mind. Whether you say I trust you, there you told me I am trying. That created a wrong notion. And the next thought put you in a total wrong notion. You can't imagine what situation I'm living in, even with a smile on your face. And then it will rationalize even the smile. You don't understand. I have to smile before you. But you don't know how much suffering I have in my life. Two things. Perception is natural. But when the mind projects based on the past impression, and that projection creates the impure mind. Understand, my friend, without clarity, knowledge, why we are talking, why knowledge is required. Knowledge gives you understanding. What is that understanding? There is a clarity. There is a clarity. And there is a conviction and freedom from doubts. Who raises the doubt? All the projection. What is that projection you just told me? You can't imagine what situation I'm living in. All the sufferings of the world on the Christmas day Jesus gave to me. And you don't imagine how deep I'm suffering. Now this Jesus has given you all the suffering. You have to fight with that guy. The moment you have this thought and you don't check it, you don't recognize there is a projection. Now if you do any practice, this impression will continue to be colored in the practice, will give you an experience later that you will claim is causing me the problem, like the heartbeat. Do you have any problem with the heartbeat? No? Because I'm not listening. So there is no problem. Now if I'm listening, the mind projects. I'm hearing it. And that is uncomfortable. Is this projection or not? Projection makes the mind impure. There is a right projection and there is a wrong projection. 100% right projection moves from one understanding to the other. First understanding, I trust you, good. Does that trust translate into a change and a practice and a new experience? Then you are doing it. We are understanding very subtler function of this mind. So once there is a clarity, you had only said that you have a bunch of thoughts, you expressed 2 thoughts. Why? You were aware. Awareness is knowledge. Knowledge is experience. Even you had and thought, you can't imagine what situation I'm living, and still the mind was aware and it did not go through that turmoil. So you are with awareness, with the knowledge, you bypass those thoughts. Look at me again. We are understanding. Look at me again. Even if your mind says, I love this guy or I hate this guy, just express it. Even if the mind says, this guy does not understand me and my problem, I'm carrying the burden of this problem for so many years, but he is not understanding. And then ask your mind, am I really understanding what he is saying, or I'm simply trying to understand? The highest state of meditation is or happens when the master is communicating to you and your mind is moving with the words the master is speaking. All those meditation practices are at much lower level. Let us see the mind. How perception, you are looking at me, and then projection. Why projection? The sense organ eyes do not recognize who the hell this guy is. It is the mind processes looking at that guy and projects. He is a teacher. I trust him. I don't trust him. He's a crazy guy. He's a good guy. He's a bad guy. All these are projection. So when the projection moves in a right direction, see the mind. I have an urge to go to the restroom and I go to the restroom. Simple projection. Pay attention. We are going into the little higher. And that will, if you have to sit like this, let me look at it. I'm going very high. Don't shy away from expressing any thought. Any thought that enters into the mind, simply just express it. Good, bad, high, low. Do it with a little smile. Don't shy away. Just look at it and see that what happens.
So there was something I don't remember what it was, because it passed very, very quickly and I don't remember.
It's okay.
I don't.
It's
and
okay.
At this very moment, I don't have any thoughts.
But during these few minutes, the mind was calm.
Okay.
Am I right?
Yes.
I like this. Mind was calm, and this is awareness, knowledge, and experience. Why shouldn't I live in the state 24/7? What I need to do? I need to do nothing. Except when the thought enters, it is a projection, and I check it. Whether it is taking me to a wrong notion, I drop it. If it is taking me to the right, let me maintain my awareness and leave it. So I'm coming to one of the higher principles. Just look at me. Keep looking at me, but do it with a smile, otherwise don't scare me. You are such a beautiful woman, girl, and don't scare me. See that we did nothing. It is simply a moment of perception. And the smile is natural that we normally forget in our life. Why we forget? Because the burden of the past impression pushes the smile down. And then the mind projects, what did you say? You can't imagine what situation I'm living. Return to the statement which the mind expressed before. You can't imagine what situation I'm living. Repeat in your mind and ask yourself, what is that situation? Here and now. And tell me what situation you are living.
So I understand this, as far as I understand.
Understand, live with the understanding, don't try to understand.
Okay.
Finished. So once you try to understand, you will not. When you are here and now, you are already calm and in peace. And the mind projects and takes you into the past and projects the future. Are you understanding? This is understanding. Mind goes to past and then what happens then? Projects the future life. And that life says, you can't imagine what situation I'm living in. The entire Russian army is attacking me from all sides. There is a big mountain on my head, and you don't understand what situation I'm living in. People are attacking from all sides. And especially the kids are always there to attack me. Projection. Projection of the mind. Let me give you a clarity so that you should remember. One guy was going to another village on a horse, keeping one luggage on the back of the horse, and he was riding and he was running. And one person started laughing at him. Why you are laughing? This horse will die because you are riding on it, your weight and the weight of the luggage. What should I do then? Put that luggage on your head. So he put that luggage on the horse and he was riding on the horse. You are a teacher, I know you have started understanding this. Come on, the weight is still the same. Question is, why you keep the burden of the past after you project into the future by declaring you don't know in what situation I'm living? Are you clear? Are you clear? Because the knowledge, you cannot see that knowledge. The problem is that you can give me a wealth, I can give you a wealth, we can enter into a relationship, anything can happen. But the peace and the happiness cannot be given even by an enlightened master. It has to be discovered by the person who follows the path. That is the only thing. Why it is not given? Why it cannot be given? Because peace is your essential nature. How can I give you which you already have it? Happiness is your essential nature. How can I give it because you already have it? It is your essential nature. The love is already within because it is your essential nature. Nobody can give you. And the wrong projection begins. If I do this practice, I will get peace. No, you will discover peace. You cannot produce or create peace. You discover peace. You discover peace and happiness. You don't create, do you understand? You don't create peace and happiness by any practice. So what is the meaning? Meaning, practice helps the mind to drop impurity that is causing the anxiety. And the mind becomes pure and you see the peace is within me. Finished. Remember, if anyone says in the world that I can definitely give you the peace, don't believe that guy. He is exploiting you. I am not. I enjoy being exploited, but I normally never exploit anyone. I enjoy being exploited. I see the first time, second time, third time, fourth time, and then I push back that guy silently. And they get a shock. Oh, he was agreeing, and now he doesn't agree. What happened? So the person asks me, I explain. If person doesn't ask me, they leave me. And that happens almost once in a month. I meet a lot of people. No, you are a great master, sir. I love you, sir. Okay. And I enjoy. I'm smiling inside. What it means even if I'm a great teacher. What it means to you? It means nothing. Did you change? That means to me. I'm going a little further and then we'll come back. Buddha got enlightenment more or less at the age of 42. He taught every Indian minimum 10 times because he traveled across India when the population was only 500,000 for more than 45 years. So to cover 500,000 for 45 years means he interacted with almost everyone, minimum 8 to 10 times. See the state of Indians there? Are they all enlightened? You meet an enlightened master 10 times, and what is the state? The same crime, violence, rape, and everything is happening. So now see the wrong notion. Buddha was not an enlightened master. That's why even if he taught 10 times, nothing happened. That is the wrong notion. What is the right notion? Peace and happiness, love and wisdom cannot be given to anyone in this world. I'm in debt. You can remove that debt by paying the money. See that? I have a pain in the body. You can take care of that pain because you love me, you trust me. But question is, can you give me the peace and happiness? No. Why no? Because peace and happiness are my essential nature. It cannot be given. It needs to be discovered. You cannot produce peace. We go to the agricultural field, we sow the seed, and you can produce it. So production is different from discovery. Because you're a teacher, so I thought, let me talk like that and understand. Differentiate. When the mind projects production of the peace, you cannot get rid of it. When you discover peace, what are the steps? That's what we have been talking about. That is what we have been talking. You see that? Now the mind, again the face looks so serious and gloomy. Face of Oksana is again, now see that, now you returned. Now you return. How long it took you to return to that state of smile? How long?
No time.
It happened in a few seconds and mind is still projecting. It takes long time. Come on. Where are you, Oksana? Are you with me? Or are you somewhere?
No, I'm listening very attentively. I'm all ears.
All ears, and you say it took me long time to smile.
No, I said it took me no time.
Oh, it took you no time. I agree with you. I deliberately made that statement. It took you no time. It takes no time to be there in peace and happiness. Why? Because it is already within me. So what covers, what veils is the projection of the mind. Projection makes the mind impure, and then there are long journey. Again looking at me. Today you look at this beer guy only. You have never looked so deeply, so look deeply. Now do two things. See that. You will get a glimpse of how I design these practices. So you are looking at me, your eyes are feeling the guy is sitting in front of me, and take the second part of the mind on the breath. You are looking at me, you are also looking at the breath, and by default the projection of the mind returns, it comes and it goes. You have to do nothing. You are simply looking at me, awareness, knowledge and experience. You are also looking at the breath at the same time. Awareness, knowledge and experience. And still you become aware of the crazy thought that enters into the mind and comes and goes and stays. Let it happen. Let it happen. So what is happening? The mind wants purity, moves in a particular direction in the practice without getting carried away by the projected thoughts that causes the impurity. A little smile is required. You see that? You miss that so often. And then the mind says it is very difficult to keep smiling. And the pure mind is destroyed by the impure mind. Is it really difficult to smile? Does it really take hours to smile? So in that state of awareness of looking at me and at the breath, and the third movement of the mind goes habitually, instinctively, from the past, projecting into the future. Let it happen. Let it happen. A true meditative state. We can live 24/7. And you experience that inner calmness and peace. And your wrong notion, you don't know what situation I'm suffering, simply drops. You may have those thoughts, but it does not have that intensity. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So in those practices which I gave you, you are moving unconsciously. The impure mind says, okay, let me practice and see what happens. Nothing will happen. There was a gardener full of banana trees. And there was a monkey. And the gardener was totally upset with the monkey because he used to eat a lot of bananas, he used to throw away half of it, and he has created a mess in the garden. He found an idea. He brought a small pot with a narrow opening. And he put all the bananas into that pot. What narrow opening. I'm narrating a story how a monkey became a monk. So when the gardener was too far from the pot, the monkey returned to the pot, put his hand, caught 5 bananas. Now, because he caught 5 bananas, the area became very large. Now he wanted to bring his hands out from the pot. Narrow was the opening of the pot. He could not do it. And the gardener thrashed the monkey. Now I caught you. 1, 2, 3, 4. He was crying. He was crying. But he was holding that bananas. Banana is sweet, we all like bananas. And after half an hour, he was being thrashed. And he loosened. He dropped all the bananas and he could take his hands out and he jumped onto the tree and he saved himself. These bananas are your projections. That see, Oksana, you are dying from the suffering. Bananas are, see that, how can I reach to that state of peace and calmness? You are holding on to it. You are holding the bananas. You are holding those projections which you think are bananas. What monkey has to do? Do nothing. Do nothing. How long it takes you to smile? Nothing, no time. How long it takes me to be aware of the impurity in the projected thoughts? No time. And when you are aware, you are already looking at peace and happiness in your life. You did it 3 times. I asked you to have a smile, and the next moment you had a smile. Now that smile is lost. I have to leave all those bananas to become a monk. So why the Master used the simile of a banana? Because the mind wants to enjoy that suffering. It is not sweet. Are you getting it? So when the monkey became a monk, and now he knows I'm not going there again to the same pot. One, first awareness. Second is I'm not putting my hand inside. Second. Third, I'm not picking up more bananas with one hand. Why? I left that attachment to the objects. I left an attachment to the thoughts that is creating a wrong notion. That is my awareness, that is my knowledge, that is my experience. And when I live into that awareness, knowledge, and experience, I live in meditation, I think in meditation, I work in meditation. Last thing, the house was never opened for 50 years, full of darkness, total darkness. 50 years of the darkness. How long it takes you to remove the darkness from that house? Another 50 years? Switch on the light, the darkness is gone. Even if the house was dark for 50 years, that is the power of the journey of Easternwisdom. There is another way. When the mind is projecting the wrong notion, then what it will say, 50 years of the darkness, bring the dustbin, fill the darkness into the dustbin and throw it out. Even 100 years you cannot remove the darkness. Bring the big bag, trash bag, fill the darkness there and throw it out. It will never happen. Ask yourself, what are you doing? Are you throwing the darkness in a trash bag to remove the darkness, or you are switching on to the light? which you did 3 times with me in this session. And the smile is again lost.